God, what the hell is that?
I'm the sheriff. I'm the sheriff.
You're the police. Where are your badges? I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
That's because I'm a stunt. Genuine sports personality. A legendary folk hero.
Jesus Christ.
There he is. The very baddest cat in the joint. Even the guards are terrified of him.
You can call me when I have to call my lawyer. They bring me a telephone. Would you like to leave me your home phone number?
I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to hear no more of this.
Wait a minute, I'm just getting to the weird part.
The weed part?
Yeah, it gets weird.
Say we take off, loop the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Let's do it.
Can you do that?
I can do anything. I'm the chief of police.
I am indeed the chief of police and the sheriff. I'm the chief and the sheriff and the mayor. I own several businesses. I control most of the market. I'm in fucking charge. That's not true. None of those things are true. I'm just a rodeo clown with a bad attitude. I'm just an old dude with a microphone, shaking his fist at the sky. Hey, Italian Gin got the alert today. What alert? Sheriff's out of his damn mind. He's running his mouth over on YouTube and Kick. Everybody quick. Go watch the Spurg out. Go watch the meltdown. I'm back, you sons of bitches. We had an actual emergency, not a Jeremy Hambley emergency. Had an actual emergency. Had to do a little bit of travel. It would appear, thanks to your prayers, everybody in the chat, and the good Lord listening, and taking a little kindness on the sheriff and Mother McCoy, that she is going to be just fine. Looks like everything's going to be okay.
Well, just a second there, Professor. We fixed the glitch, so it'll just work itself out naturally.
Oh. Or we just fixed the glitch. Getting old. I told this story before, a long time back. I used to work with an old boy, a Vietnam veteran. You're a rough old boy. And one of his favorite sayings was, getting old ain't for pussies. And that is no lie. So I'm back. Mother McCoy is fine. She's ornery as ever. If you have older parents, keep an eye on them. They tend to let things slide until there's dangerous consequences. I'm not trying to laugh at that. I'm laughing at the whole situation. It was kind of funny. I don't care for travel. There's always a misadventure when you travel. I had one or two of them. It happens. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. Doomiverse, new to the show today. Welcome, Doomiverse. Hope you enjoy yourself. You're going to be a smarter, happier, more well-rounded individual in better health. Your prosperity will increase. You will attract women or men, whatever you're bent, from watching this show. People will now love you because you are a member of the Sheriff's Posse. Also, none of which is true, but it looks good on paper. It's how we attract people to the show. Come to the We're Way Past That podcast. Come watch the Sheriff. Your life will improve exponentially. Ask Darth Yeager. He'll tell you. That's probably not true as well. And Doomer's got the gold. That's probably somebody who's on a different handle right now. That's fine. Or if you're new to the show, welcome aboard. Whatever. I got some funny stuff. I didn't have a lot of time to follow too much stuff. I did find a couple of goofy stories. They were sort of fun to me. I was watching a little bit of the election nonsense. I don't get too bent on primary stuff. I'm going to be honest. Not a lot of people participate in primaries. Primaries are for the hardcore of the parties. Most people don't pay too close of attention. Hey, old man Hatfield, what's up? Another old man. Good on you, cousin. Going to vote. Good, going to vote. This is something else I was going to tell everybody. Primaries, usually the turnout is not spectacular. If you have participation rate, the smaller the level of your election, and I mean, we're talking federal, state, county, municipal, the smaller the level, usually the smaller the participation rate, which saddens me. Usually. But in general, participation rate for elections is poor. I'm not sure why. We're hoping to change that, and primaries are a lot of bullshit that are appealing to the base. There's not too much meat going on in the primary. Well, let's face it, in politics anymore today. There's not a lot of meat, period. There's not a lot of substance. There's a lot of mudslinging, bullshit, name calling. So, it's entertaining to be sure. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's jump right in. We'll get these out of the way because these are kind of goofy, but I thought they were interesting little both ends of the spectrum examples of what I'm talking about. Let's do this. Hang on. First, got to change the music. We ain't doing. There we go. Let's do a little something banging to get her going a little bit. Let's take a look at Francesca Hong here from Mediaite. Welcome aboard, leftist Mediaite readers. You're welcome. Italian Jim knows the deal. Primary in Illinois, primaries don't mean shit. One Dem's as bad as the next. And that ain't the truth. Primaries are essentially which eye do you want poked out, your left or your right. It's kind of how I look at them anymore. But whatever. Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong. Why can't you just say communist? Whatever. Concedes after falling agonizingly short in razor-thin Wisconsin primary. She did fall short. Frankly, it was a stronger candidate with the Dems than Francesca. Francesca's out on the margins. Okay, so she didn't really. Anybody that showed up to that one, they weren't really on board the Francesca Hong train, I would venture to say. David Crowley narrowly defeated Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong in Wisconsin's Democratic. It's not Democratic, it's Democrat primary for governor. God dang, that pisses me off. Halting progressives' bid for another major victory. Here again, why are we saying progressives? Man, that's one thing I hate about communism is the newspeak. That drives me nuts. Darth says he's betting on a 3 a.m. ballot dump for Hong. Well, too late. She already conceded. She might get a 3 a.m. ballot dump. I wouldn't count on it. Not in a primary. And I have a fun tie-in to that, too. Speaking of 3 a.m. ballot dumps, you're going to love the next whole story. This one I found interesting because she is a gal who not only did she, I ain't even going to line by line this because Mediaite just makes my blood boil. Oh, shit. Gigantic again. Here's, in my opinion, the thing that got her kind of smoked. Where'd it go? There it is. Sorry, I'm a little bit fuzzy this morning. We'll get there. This is the one that I thought was funny. Wisconsin Democrat downplays appearing on Hassan Piker's show. Doesn't endorse everything he says. Here's the thing. Francesca didn't just appear for 10 minutes on Hassan Piker's show. He showed up to her rallies. Okay. He campaigned with her. So it's not like she had him sort of at arm's length and did him a favor by going on the show once for 10 minutes. And I've said it before. There's a lot of people that hyperventilate about the rise of the communist, and I'm not going to say democratic socialist. That's bullshit. It's communism. All right, let's call it what it is. We're going to defeat all that newspeak bullshit right off the bat. People hyperventilate about these communist candidates are winning here and there. Yeah, because the middle has left. Hey, Spider, what's going on? The middle has left, and they tend to not participate in the primaries because there's not a lot of independent candidates. You just get one or the other in a primary. There are states that have open primaries, but you have to declare. You can't vote in both sides of the house. You have to declare in one or the other. So it's open. You can be independent. You can be a Republican, vote in a Democrat primary. But you have to declare it going in, and then you can't vote in a Republican primary. So we're clear. And just so we can say that we're fair and balanced, and because something about this dude always rubbed me kind of wrong. I'm not sure what it was. I could never put my finger on it, but this dude always set off my creep meter for some reason. Just so we're clear, Mike Lindell refuses to concede governor's race. Also from Mediaite, by the way. Never let it be said I don't peruse every bit of news out there. Refuses to concede governor's race. Alleges voting anomalies. I don't think so in a primary, Mike. Just so we're clear. Mike Lindell, the CEO and founder of MyPillow, which I considered, lay it all on the table. I considered that to be sort of a coffee brand coffee kind of product. Pillow's a pillow, man. It's got more fill, less fill, different surface to it, whatever. It's a fucking pillow, all right? It's not going to change your life. You're guaranteed to sleep better if you have... Get the fuck out of here. Lindell, who was endorsed in the race, and this is Mediaite, so you're going to get a lot of their spin on it. I'm going to read this, a couple of things in here because I think it's funny to point out the shit rag that Mediaite is. Endorsed in the race by President Donald Trump. Sort of immaterial, but okay. Lost to state rep Lisa DeMuth. Lisa DeMuth was a much better candidate, and she's a state rep. She's an existing Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. Okay, he wasn't going against Joey Bag of Donuts, new guy. All right, he was going up against a long-established, well-liked member of the House of Representatives. Let's politician. I don't know how long she's been the speaker. I don't remember exactly when she got elected, but I don't live in Minnesota, so I get a pass on that. Darth, they are good pillows. Didn't change my life though. See, that's where I shake out. To be honest, there are products that I go, yeah, man, that's probably pretty good. And I use some stuff. I go, yeah. I watched the commercial. I gave it a whack, and yeah, it turned out to be pretty good. Is it everything that it was cracked up to be in the commercial? No. Much like my commercial I just gave at the beginning of this show. You watch my show, more people are going to like you. You're going to start making more money. You're going to get more chicks and or guys, whatever because you could be a gal. We got some gals that watch the show. They're not here this morning. I don't know where they're at. They're probably watching somebody more entertaining than me. It happens. Rarely. Maybe Don Flurgandy. Just because he's more animated. And I'm going to steal from his show in a minute. And I'm trying to butter him up so he don't strike me. But that was kind of where I shook out on the pillows on old Mike. I'm like, I don't think I need to pay that for a pillow one. Hell, I just take two old ones and put them together and go, yeah, that's pretty good. When you're an old dude and you get as many head and neck injuries as I got, you crash as many cars as I do, you tend to sleep sitting up more often than not. That's kind of where some of you old dudes out there, you know what I'm talking about. You fall asleep in that chair. A lot of people, I used to think when I was a kid, my grandfather used to fall asleep in a chair constantly. And I always thought there was something special about that chair. There's not. It's just when you're old, laying down for too long in one position kind of hurts. So reclined, and the lazy boy becomes your favorite friend. With more than 95% of the expected vote in, DeMuth led Lindell by 43 to 32. 95% in, and you're getting smoked by 11 points. You ain't winning, Mike. There ain't no coming back from that. You're done, buddy. Bow out graciously and support, DeMuth. Support Miss Lisa. Go on your way. Nah, he ain't doing that. He's going voter fraud on a primary. I don't think I'd waste it on that one, Mike. There was a couple in here. They got to throw in he was found liable for defamation against Dominion Voting Systems employee Eric Coomer. Civil court's pretty easy bar. So I don't know how I shake out on that one. We all know how I feel about voter fraud, especially as it occurs in mail-in instances, especially as it occurs in 2020. I call bullshit all over that. You look at the numbers. In this instance, though, Mike, I think you need to go ahead and back up and just say, nah, I think we're good. I'll support Miss Lisa. You guys didn't want me this time? I'll shoot for it again next time. See how that shakes out. Didn't Dominion drop that? They dropped a different case, Italian Jim. Dominion's, they have dropped a couple of cases, and I suspect it's because they're not into discovery as much as they might portray. So, anyway, we got, just to say we're fair and balanced, it wasn't just Francesca Hong that got her ass kicked. It was also Mike Lindell. Everybody's prone to do stupid shit, and there are dumb people on both sides of the aisle. Don't kid yourself. I don't do that centrist thing. I'm a centrist. That's a pussy statement, and I don't want to know you if you do that. There's a difference between that and being a rational human being, so we're clear. I'm very right-leaning. We all know that. But generally speaking, I like to examine things a little more closely than the average human being, which means I tend to stay away from the fringes. I'm fringe on a couple of things, and we've told stories. We'll get there. I'll probably say something today that you go, holy shit, this guy's out of his fucking mind. Yeah, maybe. But I thought about that one for a while. I didn't just come to that yesterday as I watched a TikTok video, which is where the majority of bumper sticker politicians and political people are, especially fucking Hambly. We're going to get to him later on, but and I'm going to wrap politics up on this one. I was going to do another story on Abdul El Sayed, but I don't give a shit about that. I watched that fucking Hambly yesterday when I was A-logging him. That son of a bitch literally had to grok his political opinions in real time and did it in front of an audience. All right, now look. You want to do that shit behind the scenes. First of all, the guy couldn't be bothered to do it in his off time. Second of all, did it in front of his audience. And third of all, got a really bullshit opinion on it. Well, that guy was MAGA once, so I'm going to vote for him. Fuck. Ugh. Him and Melanie Mack. Fucking Melanie Mack. I'm going to say something right now. It's probably going to get me in trouble, but I don't give a shit because this is what occurred to me yesterday. The way Melanie Mack debases herself on Jeremy Hambly's show, I would literally have more respect for her if she took her clothes off for money. Because what she's doing on Hambly's show, I'm fucking embarrassed for her. She's dumber than a bag of hammers, to be fair, but she ain't that fucking stupid, okay? She's been in this business a while. For those that don't know her background, you know me, I like to dig on stuff. She used to be fairly lefty. Found out that grift didn't pay off. Found out that, the right-wing gooner crowd was a lot easier for her, so that's the way she rolled. She wound up with people like Jeremy Hambly, and there you have it. And fucking Hambly doesn't know shit from apple butter about anything. That's the thing that amazes me. I have a show. I'm an old dude. I know some things. People in my audience, you guys are smart. You know some things. Okay? Because we're older or because we've lived a life. I don't know the people like Graham and some of the ladies. I don't know how old some of the ladies are. I know some of them are retired. So you're getting up there. We know some stuff. Spider knows some stuff. He'd been around. Old man Hatfield. He been around. Yeah. Old man Hatfield said people that are centrists, nothing more than squirrels that get squashed in the middle of the road. That's true, man. I always hear that Miyagi thing in my head. Walk, Daniel-san, walk left side, okay. Walk right side road, okay. Walk middle road, squish, just like great. You know, you get to stake a position out. Don't get stuck like that. If you wind up in the middle because you've examined something and you go, I don't know about. We talked about that thing the other day, the SCOTUS ruling, Fourth Amendment ruling on the data dump searches, and I'm in a weird spot on that. I'm in a tough, because I got things on. I got points on both sides of the fence. I don't know where I shake out. Morning, Marianne. You ain't late. I'm late. You got confused because I was fucking around with the schedule. I got in. I'm like, man, I'm beat up. I can't not do it again today, but I gotta have a little bit of extra time. So I did. So if you have one of those considered opinions about something that you can legit go, I don't know where I shake out on that. Okay. But when you just when you just spit out blatantly that I'm a centrist, that's your default position. Get the fuck out of here. Just like it says in the book, because you're neither hot nor cold but lukewarm, I spit you out of my mouth. Get out of here. Anyway, she not only just old man Hatfield's Melanie Mack has the body of a 14-year-old boy and the mind of a 14-year-old boy, to be fair. So we're clear. The inside goes with the outside. She's fucking retarded. Half of that is an act, though. I refuse to buy that she's that fucking stupid. It's an act. I've seen, and here's why I say that. If you go back over some of her old stuff, some of her old days when she was still sort of in the major market contention, she ain't that fucking dumb. She knows what she's doing. She's working it. And I can't stand that shit. I'm getting ahead of myself here. We're getting far down the road. Let me clean up I found some weird shit out there that I wanted to share with people. One of them was just a typical DEI hire gone wrong sort of example, but it was in the vein that I've been railing about for decades, which is academia. From the Spectator. See, we do both ends of the spectrum for media around here. Jason Arday. If you haven't been following, and the Dukes of Dauphins of DEI, it's from the Spectator. Pete Wood. If you're not familiar, Mr. Arday, youngest black professor in Cambridge history. Oh, that sounds nice. Good for Cambridge. Wow, college, it's woke, go figure. People go, well, it's Cambridge. They've got an 800-year. Yeah. Here's the problem. I ain't going to line by line this. There's a couple of things on here that are pretty good. Here's the problem, Mr. Arday. Indeed, tricksters are found almost everywhere stories are told. Native Americans have their tales of coyote. Anansi the spider, a key figure in West African and African American folklore. We admire the cleverness of such cozners, at least in fiction. God, I can't read for shit today. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me get a shot here. Hold on. There we go. Their victims often get what they deserve. This may be the case with Jason Arday, too. Catch up. Until a few days ago, Arday was a professor of sociology of education at the University of Cambridge. Oh, that sounds special. Sounds smart. Big time. Sounds like an educated feller. He has a PhD in education from Liverpool John Moores University. The Wikipedia page, not yet scrubbed at this writing, describes his origin and some of his accomplishments. But beware. Here we get to the good part. So much of what Arday claimed about his past, they misspelled Arday in this one, by the way. Spell check, Pete. Claimed about his past has now been exposed as confabulation. I love that word. I think it's a very polite way to say bullshit. That nothing can be accepted at face value. The exposure of deceptions is what led to his resignation. They go on to say, a couple other things in here, but here's the one that I wanted. The other example, they do Crystal Mangum, which is one of my all-time favorites. Not only was she full of shit, but Mike Nifong, who was a DA, went down for that shit as well. If you guys aren't familiar with Crystal Mangum, there's a hooker that got hired to do a party at Duke University and accused some of the lacrosse players of raping her. The DA got on board. They absolutely crucified these boys. 3 of them in particular, 5 altogether. There was 3 of them that they absolutely crucified. And it all turned out to be bullshit. And eventually Crystal got in trouble for it. Mike Nifong, who was the DA on the case, was prosecuting it. He lost his license, got sued, all kinds of shit. To my knowledge, and I haven't followed up on him for a while, he's been disbarred and all that. I don't believe he did any time, which is sad. But Crystal eventually went on to, I don't know if she killed him. She committed aggravated assault against her partner. I can't remember if she finished him off or not. I don't believe she did. I think he lived. That's not important. It's not germane to the story. Anyway, get back on track, old man. All right, sorry. Say cite her. Juicy Smollett. Here's the one that I wanted to point out because it relates directly to this story, which is a good thing because it's in the story. Arday takes his place beside Claudine Gay. Now, for those of you who either didn't read about her or don't remember her, she was exposed as a serial plagiarist in December 23 and stepped down from the presidency of Harvard University. Now, you have a professor that you take out of a chair because you go over some of their earlier works. Let's say you got a professor of basket weaving 101, and they've been doing it for a year. And some of the students are going, Darth got the 12-year, speaking of 14-year-old boys, he said gay. That's right. Claudine Gay. Thanks for the childish interlude, Darth. I appreciate that. We'll lighten that shit up a little bit. We're all little kids at the end of the day. Gay. You have a professor that some of the kids come, they do audits of the class, and they go, I think there's something wrong with your professor here. I don't think they're up to snuff, because as an undergrad attending this course, I'm finding issues with some of the statements that they're making in their course as statements of fact, which are demonstrably bullshit. And you look into them and you go, all right, let's look into their background a little bit. And you find that they plagiarized the shit out of their thesis, and a bunch of stuff they came up with was all made up AI bullshit. And then you go, okay, we got to get them out of there. That's fine. You do that. The president of Harvard. And why? Because she was a black woman. Just get it out on the table. Oh yeah, we're gonna first black woman president of Harvard. Yeah. There's your qualifications. There are a couple of Supreme Court justices who are where they are because of the color of their skin and what they got between their legs. Fucking dangerous precedent set right there. And old Jason here is yet another example. Now, I don't care. You do it in a private business. That's none of my affair. I don't care. None of my business. You start appointing these people to positions of authority over entire nations and entire universities and institutions of learning that are going to influence thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of young minds. We got a problem. And I have been railing about education for decades. One of the first things communists infest and take over. Get rid of the church, take over education. Make the state your church, make all information go through the party. That's not how life works. It's also typically why they fail, because then you get a bunch of stupid people at the end of the day, and it just collapses. This is a funny story. To that point, you think I'm lying. This is a movie called The Death of Stalin. It's fairly historically accurate. When you control information to the degree that they did, Stalin had a stroke. And it's possible if they'd have got doctors to him in time, he might have survived it. Unfortunately for old Joe, he had just recently completed a roundup and exile and or execution of an entire cadre of the medical system, which was all Jewish doctors. You know, like them because they were Jewish. It's one thing him and Hitler had in common. And he just went, nah, they're out of here. Get rid of them. Oh, good thinking, Joe. It wasn't months later he had that stroke and down he went. That's a little touch of irony there if you like that sort of thing, huh? So be careful. Yeah, there's another one. Italian Jim. Remember seeing clips of Germany burning textbooks during Hitler's takeout? Hell yeah, man. That's why extremist ideology doesn't work. It's like genetics, man. Spread the genes apart. When you get too, myopic about something, I don't care what it is. I don't care what side of the circle you're on, what part of the circle you're on, because it's not an end-to-end spectrum. It's a circle. I don't care where you land on it. You get too myopic on anything, that's just like genetics. You're going to weed yourself out. Darwinism is what rules, man. That's fact. Some people will argue. You can argue that all you want. I'm very close-minded about that. Even here's the thing that pisses me off. I'm as hardline as it gets in my way of thinking on many things. Even I will admit, yeah, I know I'm hardline on this. Yeah, I know I ain't going to examine it. I might be wrong, and I don't give a shit. I may be wrong. I don't care. Works for me. I am able to say it works for me. You want to do something else, you can prove me wrong. Go ahead. You can prove me wrong, and I'm still going to say, nah, I don't care. That's how I'm going to do it with me. People who will flat out argue with you and go, no, because this, that, and the other thing. Nah. When you're wrong, you're wrong. Just say, yeah, I know I'm wrong, but I don't give a shit. Stand up. You get to and I will accept if it's something that's going to hurt myself or somebody else. I go, yeah, okay, not only am I wrong, yeah, I need to change the way I do this, that, or the other thing. I'll admit it. I ain't infallible. I thought I was wrong once, but it turns out I was mistaken. That's one of the first things that you're going to learn there's a little fun. I'll share this. If there's any young people in the crowd, which I doubt, somebody might watch this, young person might watch this. We might get some good out of this. Excuse me 1 second. That cold just kind of hanging on. The one thing that you're going to learn, and the earlier in life that you learn it, the better off you're going to be. My old man told me this, and it took me forever for it to sink in. There are two things in life that you can learn that are going to save you. The first thing is, the number one thing that you can be certain of is that you don't know everything. Number two thing is there's always somebody out there bigger and badder than you. That second lesson, I caught that real early on because I was lippy when I was a kid, boy. I thought I was 8 feet tall and bulletproof. Turns out I'm not, by the way. Go figure. Turns out I am not. I'm neither 8 foot tall nor bulletproof. And I wish I'd learned much earlier on that I didn't know everything. Would have saved me a lot of time and trouble. I didn't. I do now. And then you get old enough to where you go, yeah, I know I'm wrong, but I don't give a shit. So there you go. But when you're young, learn that one quick. Only thing I know for sure is I don't know everything. And listen. And then if you hear something that you go, yeah, that makes sense, investigate it. And if you find out you were wrong, go, yeah, I was wrong. I'm going to do that now. Boom. Death of Stalin is, Spider says Death of Stalin is fucking hilarious. If you haven't seen Death of Stalin, check it out. It's an absolutely hysterical send-up of the events surrounding the death of Stalin. Excuse me 1 second. All right. It is believe it or not, it is a dramatization, but not a fictionalization of the events surrounding the death of Stalin. And it is fucking hysterical. Google it. It'll come up. It's on YouTube. You can, if you're a YouTube premium user, you can rent or buy it, whatever. I ain't shilling YouTube. I'm just saying that's where I found it. And I went out and got a hard copy. A lot of great actors in that. The writing is phenomenal. I think it's my favorite part is they don't even bother to attempt Russian accents, because anybody other than Russians doing Russian accents sounds stupid. And I like to check things I see on history buffs, because I saw it first and then I was like, in my recollection, that's fairly accurate. I want to make sure. There's a channel on YouTube called History Buffs. The fella on there fairly well read, does good background stuff. I checked out a couple of things on there. Made an interesting point about it. Russia, for those of you who don't know, is a vast, especially back in the day when all of it was Russia. Instead of just, Russia now is much smaller than it used to be because collapse of the Soviet Union. But that area is a huge place. It's a very diverse place in its ethnicities. You say Russian, you're talking about Georgian, Lithuanian, Uzbekistan. I mean, there's a ton of different accents in that part of the world because it's so diverse. So when people watch that movie and you have all these different accents, American, different kinds of British, all that, it's funny to me because I instantly went, hey, that makes sense. I'm glad they played it off that way. So there, Death of Stalin. Go check that out. There's our little quick movie plug for the day. Now we get into the goofy part of some of the stuff I was looking at when I was perusing news while I was out and about and sitting with Mother and all that. Sitting with Mother McCoy, who is I love Mother McCoy to death, but God, she's an ornery cuss. Don't pick up the phone unless you want a 30-minute conversation about everything wrong with everything. I didn't just get this way overnight, folks. Here's a funny one. It's not funny. It's funny, strange. Marine veteran left with permanent brain injuries after eating contaminated oysters at Chicago Steakhouse. Lawsuit claims. Now, I'm going to skip to a really important part of this story right off the bat because I thought this was interesting to me. I think there may be some sort of cap involved here, but $50,000 is what this plus coverage of healthcare costs, which, to be fair, is going to be the real expensive part of this suit should they win. Let me find her here. Yeah, here we go. Belgio, I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. Belgio seeking damages of $50,000 plus costs per the lawsuit. All right, let's set this up. And this is People, so a little bit of sensationalism here and there, but you get the meat of it. Chicago Steakhouse chain been hit with a lawsuit more than a year after a local veteran suffered permanent brain injuries from eating allegedly contaminated oysters during a visit. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm aware of Vibrio. I'm aware that you can get sick and possibly die from eating contaminated shellfish. Okay. In my head, it's limited to you can get, food poisoning kind of sick. I don't typically envision this level of sick. So this article kind of wigged me out a little bit. I'm not a raw oysters guy, to be fair. I'm not a raw anything guy. I just never had it as a kid, never got used to it. I tried sushi once. It was fucking gross. And that's the end of just raw foods for me. Like, why are we eating anything raw when we, discovered how to create fire at will tens of thousands of years ago? Why would you, whatever. The 44-year-old Joe Belgio, who was a Marine and a firefighter, so right off the bat, I'm sympathetic to this cat, became ill in early July 2025 after a family meal at Gibson's Bar and Steakhouse in Oak Brook, a Chicago suburb, according to a complaint filed on Monday, August 10th. Now, check this part out. This weirded me the fuck out, all right? Because, like I said, not being a raw Not being around. Oh, this is personal for Italian Jim. He'd been to that Gibson location. Only had steak. See, stick with steak. Even if it's raw, you eat the steak, it ain't gonna make you sick. All right. There's also a fun fact: is people say, "Oh, why do you eat red meat? So much red meat." Because red meat is super unlikely to make you sick from anything. You can get food poisoning from raw meat. You ever heard of steak tartare? No, red meat, super safe. Anyway, it's alleged that Cicero, resident Belgio, who has a toddler daughter, Carmela, with his fiancee, Melanie Stair, became severely ill and was left in a coma for months after eating contaminated raw oysters at the steakhouse on June 30th. For months. God damn. And you see Joe, picture of Joe. Joe don't look probably like he did when he was either a Marine or fighting fires. Joe's not looking so hot. Joe's got issues. He ended up getting very, very ill. And like I said, we did that one already. Let's do this one. There we go. I didn't know you could get this kind of, I knew you could get this kind of ill, but I never really put it together till I read this. And getting very, very ill and resulting in cardiac arrest where he lost consciousness and oxygen for at least 8 minutes. I'm amazed this dude is still alive at all. No matter what state he's in. 8 minutes is a long damn time to be without air. If you're one of them, 6-year-old kid falls through the ice, submerged for 30 minutes, they bring him back. That's a different story. They freeze right away. Kids are super resilient. They bounce back from shit like that. Not all the time, but exponentially more than an adult human being will. And Joe looks like he's 44. So, his bounce back capability kind of non-existent at this point, let's be fair. He's been in the hospital ever since. Now, June 2020, early July 2025 to now, you know what a year in the hospital costs? Fucking weekend in the hospital, depending on your care, can cost you $100,000 or more in the hospital. Think I'm lying? Get real sick, go into the hospital. Even with coverage, go find out how much that costs. Fucking ambulance ride will cost you almost $10,000. And that was years ago. I don't know what they cost now. I haven't been around them. I don't know what. God forbid you got to be helicoptered someplace. You got to be choppered out of something. Hope you ain't too attached to your house. Coverage or no. Excuse me one sec. So I can't imagine the costs of being in the hospital for a year, especially with the kind of care that it looks like Mr. Joe here is going to require. He ain't, walking around doing okay, chowing down 3 times a day. Joe looks like he's got sponge baths, special meds, a lot of therapy. Joe's in a bad way. The complaint, which also named fish and seafood distributor Supreme Lobster and Seafood Company as a defendant, alleges that doctors ran tests, found several pathogens associated with shellfish contamination. Filing alleges he contracted enteropathogenic E. coli, Plasmodium shigelitis, I don't know, and Vibrio cholera from eating the oysters. Now, I'm not trying to hack on either Joe or people that like to eat seafood, especially raw oysters. I have seen oysters, especially raw oysters, on menus a couple of different times in my life. More than once, let's put it that way. More than once, less than 100 times. Let's put it in there. Without fail, every menu I've seen that contains raw oysters has a pretty prominent, substantial warning on it that lets you know engaging in this activity can result in serious illness and perhaps your demise. So I'm not sure what the suit, and unfortunately it doesn't say in this story that the suit, like where they allege the malfeasance here, whether it's on the provider of the food to the restaurant itself. I'm not sure where, where the issue in the lawsuit has been dropped at somebody's feet. Some man who's been deployed ran into burning buildings. You thought he was out of the line of fire, and really he wasn't. His fiance told the outlet. He's a good, God-fearing man. I get that. I feel bad for you, brother. I do. I feel bad for people where weird shit like this happens to you. His loved ones got a GoFundMe campaign fundraiser, calling him a man who has devoted his life to protecting others. I feel for people like this. I'm one of them dudes. I'm sympathetic. I get it. You spend your life doing, what you think is the right thing, and you spend your life, literally your life, in service of other people. And then you get some shit deal at the end of it. That's a rough beat, man. But I also gotta say, you buy your tickets, you ride the ride, brother. And I have a feeling that if Joe could communicate, which my understanding is he's non-communicative now, I have a feeling if he could communicate, he'd probably say the same. I laced him up. I got in the ring. It happens. However, there's a little, if you're into raw oysters, good on you. First of all, I think that's gross and you're weird. My cousin, old man Hatfield, I live on the Gulf Coast, and I don't eat oysters raw. You and me both. Mrs. McCoy, who could eat seafood 3 meals a day for the rest of her life, also does not eat raw oysters. Being on the Gulf Coast, Hatfield, every place you go. Tell me I'm lying. If you walk into a joint and they got raw oysters on the menu, is there not a warning on that menu fairly prominently that says, caution, eating raw shellfish can result in serious injury or death? I know I've seen it. There was a place in San Antonio a few years back, and that was their big thing, was a raw oyster bar. They had a warning on the goddamn doorway that said, hey, welcome aboard, but you're engaging in hazardous behavior right now, so be forewarned. And I was like, good on them. And people were just strolling in there, no problem. I'm like, okay, good. Good for you. I'm glad you are aware of the risks and you're taking them anyway. Because life is full of risks, and it wouldn't be any fun if it didn't have any. Much like Mrs. McCoy making fun of the games that I play and the very, very limited fail states they have. Said, that's fun to you? You can almost never lose at this. I'm like, oh, trust me. I can lose. I suck at games. But life wouldn't be any fun if there wasn't a fail state. Yeah. See? Warning by law that has to be posted. See, I ain't making that up. That's 2 old guys that told you, so now you know it's a fact. Now, here's the part of life where the risks aren't clearly marked, and you're even taking a risk that you knew about that was in addition to the risk you knew about that wasn't marked. I'm not sure how this happened, but high school football player practices with venomous snake hiding inside helmet before coach's discovery. Wow. Not only are you risking CTE later in life, which you know about that one, you got a little extra added bonus in your helmet. This blew my mind. This is in Arkansas. Thousands of high school football players across the country are taking the practice field, preparing to kick off the 26th season in the coming weeks. But one young man in Arkansas recently had a practice experience unlike any other. That ain't no shit. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Maumelle. The Maumelle high school football team split into position groups during practice. Player noticed there was movement inside his helmet. Obviously, nothing's supposed to be moving inside a football helmet. I like the writing there. When he handed the helmet over to a defensive coach, nobody could have predicted what was hidden inside. According to NBC Arkansas, there was a 2-foot-long snake hiding underneath the helmet's padding. While there are plenty of high school football coaches who would immediately toss the helmet into the woods, not a bad idea, or taking care of the snake themselves, in Arkansas, also probably pretty viable option right there. Athletic director Kirk Horton called on Animal Services. Oh, thank you, Kirk. I tricked you. Didn't think you were going live. I'm going live. Welcome, Zeph. I cannot even imagine. I live in a place now where you can walk outside at night. You're not really sure what you're going to come across. Now, to be fair, where I live right now, most of the critters you're going to run across here got 2 legs. Okay, just call it like it is. There's a couple of sketch, God's creatures you could run across here, but they ain't nothing like the Florida compound. Florida compound, you go out at night unarmed, you're literally flipping a coin. That's not hyperbole. My Florida compound, you go. I watched Jeff Foxworthy bit one time. I'm not sure how I got on it, but he tells a story about how he got bit on the foot by a copperhead because his generator was running. Jeff, I imagine, lives in a place similar to the Florida compound. Now, here's what you learn from living in places like that. And I learned this. I've been in places around the world where this is just a habit you pick up. You don't put on boots or, gloves or encase any part of your body with something unless you check it first. You bang your boots out real good, empty them. Gloves, you turn them inside out, squish the fingers, that kind of shit. I'm not sure where Maumelle High School is in Arkansas, but I bet you this kid never in his life puts on a football helmet again without closely examining, including the lining, what is in that helmet. Zephyr thinks that's funny. Don't leave your boots outside either. Well, the problem is my boots, you got to leave them outside. Sometimes I get into things that I go, I don't want this anywhere in my house. So you got to kind of leave them outside. But I never put on a pair of boots. Even my beach shoes, I don't put that shit on unless I bang them out, turn them over first. I learned that one in Australia, funnily enough. It took me one legit story of a funnel web, and I have never put on a pair of shoes. I'm that guy, a cat will never step on a hot stove twice, but it'll never step on a cold stove either. That's me. So this kid will never in his life put on a football helmet again. Probably shoes, neither for that fact, without checking in there. Make sure you don't have. I love this part of the story. This is good. Officers for Animal Services. This is like, oh, no, it's fine. Wait, no, it's not. Officers for Animal Services received a report that the snake was a copperhead, a fairly deadly snake right there, which is venomous. But when they arrived to see it for themselves, it was identified as a cottonmouth, which is also venomous. No, you ain't going to die from a copperhead. You're going to die from a cottonmouth. Are they generally, and when they say venomous, are they generally fatal to human beings? No, not really. They can be, don't get me wrong. But generally, you're going to wish your mother had never met your father for a couple of days, and then you'd be all right afterwards. You'll have some scars and that. Yeah, Hatfield, there you go. I got bears. The Florida compound, man, it's got everything. I got bears, I got cats. And when I say cats, I mean panthers. I don't mean, well, also bobcats, water puppies. You get them I had a pool. I told this story before. I had screen damage from a fucking gator. I mean, it's amazing. It blew my mind. Mrs. McCoy went out one night, had an interaction with a coyote. Our dogs are very small, and she had an interaction with a coyote, and that one didn't go too bad. Had an interaction with a fox that went a lot worse than I would have preferred. You don't go outside at the Florida compound, and it's lit up like fucking Ebbets Field, man. That thing ain't. I mean, we don't fuck around out there, but they're motion sensors, and every now and again, they don't go off for a while, and then you step on something and it moves, and then you feel this incredible searing pain in your foot. What the fuck is that? But when your choice is between a copperhead and a cottonmouth, I thought that part of the story was particularly funny. I'm like, what? Okay, which eye do you want poked out, your left or your right? It was really just shocking disbelief. I got a better shot at winning the lottery than seeing this in my 10 years. I'm amazed this kid didn't get smoked. Most snakes, you give them an out, to be fair. If you get bit, you have intruded on a snake in a manner where you're touching it. You're getting to the point where the snake's like, don't. You've either touched it, stepped on it, whatever. Especially cottonmouths and copperheads. Those are, they're big. Snakes are sissies, man. They take off. They don't want to be anywhere near people. They don't want to be anywhere near anything that can hurt them. So the fact that it was in this kid's helmet in that sort of a confined space and didn't lash out at him, that's fucking remarkable. It's incredible. And a 2-footer, man, how do you not notice a 2-foot snake wrapped up in your helmet? I mean, sure, as far as snakes go, it's probably still pretty thin. I get it. But god dang, that's a lot of snake, man. Whatever. It's worth mentioning the player didn't feel the movement inside of his helmet until an hour into practice. This kid is thick. We better check this kid for CTE right off the bat. I'll tell you that right now. I'm thinking there's something ain't right with this boy's taking one too many to the melon already. I think it's time for this kid to switch to baseball. I removed a snake out of a car vent in the engine, purses, backpacks. Animal Services Director Chris Davis told the TV. In a helmet? Never. That's a weird spot. I ain't gonna lie. Italian Jim SF, or can you walk around at night? To be clear, you can walk around the Florida compound at night. People do it all the time where, when I was there, I haven't been there in a while. I didn't even get to visit when I was back. That's a long story. People do it all the time. A lot of old folks, they walk, drive around the golf carts, whatever, open-sided golf carts. No big deal. You get used to it. I mean, you just kind of gaff it off. I went for a hike one day when I was out there. It's a nice, open area, hammock kind of, which if you don't know what a hammock is, I ain't going to go into it. It's a greenbelt sort of area, but in Florida. You're in the swamp, the short version. I was hiking through the swamp. All right, let's put it like that. It's got a trail on it. You know, it's about 2 miles of asphalt that they lay down in a swamp. There you go. And I ran across, and I mean less than 50 yards across, from 2 panthers. Not 1, but 2. That was the last day I left the house for one of my little walks without a sidearm. You can't have a sidearm. Get the fuck out of here. So that's the kind of place that I lived at, where I learned that lesson. This kid, I think, is probably going to check his shoes for the rest of his days. And Arkansas, you know, everything. Here's a good rule of thumb. If you can't tell snakes by the look of them quick, and I mean you've studied them for years, just treat every snake as if it's venomous. Don't even fuck around. A lot of people, well, that's because of this band doesn't touch up with it. You know what? Just fuck it. So I love being on Okinawa. They tell you straight out, every snake here is venomous, so don't worry about it. You know, don't spend time trying to figure out, well, is it the red band that touches the yellow one or the black one that touches the yellow? Don't even worry about that shit. It'll hurt. It may kill you. And the stuff on Okinawa, all their snakes had tissue degenerative venom, which was ridiculously gruesome. They had pictures of guys that had fucked around and got bitten. Oh my God. It was horrible. So the short version is, don't put your helmet on unless you check it for snakes. There you go. And for you ladies out there, you might want to take a look. If you got a toilet brush, quick, give it a run under the rim real quick before you sit down. If you live in a place that is prone to reptiles. There you go. Let me plant that little seed of anxiety in your head. Oh my goodness. See, there's this kind of shit right here. Red and yellow kills a fellow, red and black won't attack. See, I don't, I don't give a shit. I look at it this way. And this rule has saved me untold heartache. Bright colors of any kind, or bright markings, or stark markings of any kind, is nature's way of telling you, do not touch. There you go. If you see something, you go, oh, that's beautiful. Don't fucking go near it. No, don't touch it. Don't pick it up. Don't throw it food. Don't talk to it. Don't get your picture with it. Put little Steffi next to the bison, Bob. Whew. Never mind. Don't touch. Is it bigger than you? Is it bright and colorful? That's nature's way of telling other things, stay the fuck away. Don't play with that. So there's that. I have said previously about how I don't play the market anymore. I found as I was horsing around, that's not much of a segue. That's one kind of danger into another, I guess. And don't feed wildlife. I got to quick do this thing. Here's why that rule exists. That little soiree that Mrs. McCoy had with the fox that I mentioned earlier with the dogs at night, it went poorly. There was gunfire. We'll leave it there. There's a reason you don't feed fucking wildlife. Wildlife gets what's called habituated. They don't fear human beings anymore. Now, that's a problem. And it's a problem for many reasons. They will attack the domestic animals that humans have with them. They will attack human beings. There's a story. We'll get to her here in a second. I got a Hambly bullshit story I got to tell about, coyotes. People like coyotes this, coyotes. I got to get rid of the coyotes. Coyotes are primarily nocturnal. They have amazing eyesight. They are, when I say Wile E. Coyote, there's a reason for that nickname. They're pretty smart. They're skittish. They don't like large domestic dogs. They stay the fuck away from human beings, generally speaking. Hungry coyote kid out in the open, dawn or dusk. I'm talking a little kid. You might have an issue. Other than that, you're okay. You start feeding other animals. Excuse me one second. You start feeding critters. You leave dog food out. Foxes, coyotes, raccoons, what have you. They start coming around. They see you. They figure out nothing happens. They get habituated. And then you're screwed. A lot of them critters tend to get rabies. Yeah, Wiley. I always love that they call them Wile E. Coyotes. Oh, that's a pretty good way to describe them. So if you go out in your yard and you see torn apart boxes that say Acme on the side, or you find a pair of expended rocket boots or bed springs, just know you might have a coyote problem. Now, that's a reason you don't feed wildlife. People go, well, it's for this, that. I don't care. Here's where I'm going. Our neighbor, who was close enough to make this a problem, was one of them retards that loved to try and trap things and administer, well, I give them this in their food and I take care of them and I do this. And it's fucking wildlife. It's a rodent, okay? It's vermin. Stop. It's not your job. Leave the fucking wildlife alone, okay? First of all, you got 18 fucking dogs. You're running a rescue out of your place, which is against every fucking code in the world. I can't do it. I hate people like this. Leave the fucking wildlife alone, okay? If you were supposed to take care of the wildlife, God would have made them your pet. Now, fuck off. Because you're doing nothing but creating problems. Here's where this gets sketch. Foxes start coming around. What preys on foxes? And then what preys on that? Pretty soon, in a place like the compound in Florida, you got a goddamn zoo in your backyard. All of which, if they haven't eaten in a while, is going to start eyeing you sideways and licking their lips. So thank you, Zephyr, for sending me down that spiral. Stop feeding the fucking wildlife. All right, I'm going to go back to the trading thing because I thought this was funny. I'm going to kill this for a second. I have told people on this show, people in my real life, and they get tired of hearing it, about trading, why I don't play the market anymore, why you should very seriously consider it. I want to show you something. I want to show you an example. I try and explain why, because I always say, oh, it's turned into a casino. It's not a market anymore. Here's a quick one from Zephyr. Brother had a bear living in the backyard 1 year. They were away for the winter and the bear moved in. Do you think they fucking won't? Animals aren't stupid, man. They figure out where the living's easy and they'll go there. And if you come in and try, it's hard enough getting rid of two-legged squatters. Try getting rid of a four-legged squatter that weighs about 800 pounds. You got a problem. I've tried to explain to people how the market is a casino, and I have little luck. For some reason, I can't seem to articulate exactly what I mean in these instances. So the best way I have found to do that, I found this cat, Gas Fee TV. There's a bunch of them out there. You can find all these funny stories because watching people lose when they gamble is funny, which is essentially what you're doing. So check this out. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to spread a little Gas Fee TV love. Got 20,000 subscribers. If you're interested in this kind of thing, it's fairly entertaining. Go give them a sub. Give them a like, give them a sub. Check this out. We are watching people, and I shouldn't say check this out. It reminds me of fucking Hambley. We'll get to him in a minute. I ain't going to do this long because we're going to tell Hambly stories in a minute because I got this guy flat cold cooked. I'm going to start A-logging the shit out of him. But we are watching people lose money on stupid trades. These are day traders and people who either make a hobby or a living out of gaming the market. And if you think it's just a few folks out there, this is roughly 40% of the market right now. Roughly.
Clip drops us into a trader getting absolutely teased by the market.
If we break and we close below this line, I'll consider shorts when we come back into this area.
Okay. I'm going to set up a couple of things. I'm going to talk throughout this a little bit because I want to explain to people that aren't aware of what he's doing. He's playing shorts. You're betting. If you were playing craps, you would be a wrong better. You would be betting against your shooter making his point. Okay? You're betting on a company's stock to go down. Short version.
He is stalking a future short, waiting patiently for price to revisit his resistance level.
All right, we closed. Good short.
Order submitted.
And the second it taps the zone, he enters. But the chart immediately turns against him.
Okay. What just happened to him? Some of you that know the market, you're going to hear me say this and go, all right, we know what he's doing. Just shut the fuck up. It's important for people that don't understand. He's bet this stock's going to go down. He's placed a price point. He's buying. If it goes down, he makes money. If it goes up, he loses money. Very, very short version of what's going on. So if the stocks go down, good for him. If they go up, bad for him. Keep in mind two things. Number one, I don't know what service he's using. Typically, unless he has a license, typically every service you use gets a cut. Whether you win or lose, you pay a transaction fee. Okay. So you're not only are you betting, you are paying every time to place a bet. Okay. Number two, you hit a bad margin call. Now, these guys do it middle of the day. They're not going to make a margin call. You fuck around doing this at the wrong time of day and you hit a margin call because something collapsed. Lehman Brothers went out like this. You will wipe out your entire holdings because you cannot cover your bets.
Oh, man, boy, it takes still.
Price hovers mere pixels away from his stop loss. He's barely surviving, clinging to the trade by the skin of his teeth, when the chart finally gives him a moment of relief.
There, now he gets it down, so he's like, oh, thank God, I'm okay.
If I win this trade, this would be the best comeback ever. I'm still not
SMT stands for sucking my teeth.
TikTok Jesus loves me again.
I'm gonna go to church every day.
If I make this, I'm gonna go to church every day. Okay. I'm glad Zephyr brought this up. I'm glad you know what you're talking about. Stop me at any time I fuck up these explanations. Do you know how many margin calls I used to write up each day? Probably a lot. How many people you're writing them up and you go, I wonder if this one's going to make it through the day or leap out a window. Probably a bunch of them, huh? And there's no way I would day trade ever. If it were me, the market would be open for an hour a day. Day trading would be illegal. Anybody convicted of insider trading would do life in prison without parole. And the market would be open for a total of an hour a day. The entire volume would happen right then and there. You would have to place all your orders 10 minutes before that hour and do your margin calls 10 minutes after that hour. Boom. Solved. Weed these fucking people out because they're destroying the economy. And if Zephyr, if I'm lying, you tell me. We'll get back to this dude for a minute.
Intervention only lasts so long in futures trading.
But I would be completely fine having that cushion because now I can just take more size with each of my trades.
Motherfuckers.
The next push sends the chart flying straight into his stop for a $900 loss.
So that little line he just went past just cost him $900 just for that little increment. Zephyr asked, do day traders have to be Series 7 registered? I do not know, to be perfectly honest with you. I am unaware of their registration requirements. So many people that I'm aware of use these services and just pay the transaction fees because they figure they'll do a one shot and then maybe a 2-shot if they try and hedge halfway through, that their fees would be, negligible, and then they get caught trying to do a stop loss 4 and 5 and 6 times, and then their fees wind up being astronomical. But that's kind of beside the point. My new plan would bankrupt Pelosi. Oh yeah. Some of the biggest offenders of stock market manipulation, by the way, politicians.
Okay, I'm going to have a 25.5.
Makes sense. Don't know a lot about day traders because
refusing to accept defeat, he
gambling
immediately
against
re-enters with a second
professionals, which is
short.
dumb as shit.
It teases him with a flicker of profit before ripping right back up exactly like the first one.
Or stop filled.
Ah, boys. That was a fuckery.
Stop
it's just not a day today. We'll come back tomorrow.
He's got a stop loss margin in there, and it far exceeded his stop loss.
And if that wasn't
There's
enough,
$2,000.
the next clip shows how even a seasoned trader can get blindsided in seconds and lose tens of thousands of dollars.
The best longs would have been off of
All right.
NASDAQ.
Before we
I
get
don't
too
want
far
to.
down the road, I want you to, so look at this kid right here. Look at the kid before him. Look at who is doing this. Okay. These are children. They are children playing with tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars every hour. And they're doing it to the detriment of the market as a whole. These are kids who are getting a kick out of, I'm going to get rich. You're going to get broke. You're going to get felted. Which, if it was just you, I wouldn't mind. But you're going to take an entire look at, I'll give you an example. GameStop. You want to see what kind of bullshit you can pull in the market just through social media manipulation. Yeah, there's kid. Oh yeah. Wasn't there a kid that lost way over 500K in a day? You go to one of these sites I'm talking about, go over to Gas Fee TV and watch. He's got hours of this shit. And there are many sites like this on YouTube that you can go to. I'm going to shout out Gas Feed because he's got great, the way he puts them together is great compilations. And if you know, it'll explain enough about what's going on that if you don't know how the market works, you can understand it. And if you do know it, he's just got some really cool little interesting pain points that these people hit. And it's just entertaining as hell. All right. We ain't going to do, I don't want to go too far down there. And that shit can get kind of dry if you're not interested in the market. I don't do it just as that. I like to rail about it and tell people stay out of it. The stock market is to do this. You go out, you investigate companies, you find a company that you want to invest in because they have a solid business model. They provide an excellent service or product. They're going to last for a long time. You invest money in that company, 20, 30 years down the road, you've got a good payoff on it. You can live off of that shit until you die. Okay. You build the economy and strong companies. At the end of the day, that's what it was designed. That's what it was set up to do. It is so not that anymore. It breaks my heart. Absolutely destroys me every day. I see videos like that. Now, the funny part of that to me is I can watch hours of those videos and watch those kids lose their short. It's like watching Boss Man Jack. These kids who think they're so fucking smart. I'm going to go in and make $1 bajillion on the market on a day trade and move to Argentina because nobody's ever thought of that before. That shit is so entertaining to me. There's something about train wrecks. I just can't take my eyes off of it. There you go. Zephyr used to work for Merrill. Perfect. Good. Then great. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I did not work at Merrill. I had, how do I do this? I had a family member, an investment banker by trade. Not exactly an angel in his own dealings, but real fucking good at making money. That's part of how I got to do what I do now. Did not go with a few of his recommendations because I don't like dodgy shit. I don't like anything anybody can ever come back and question later. He saw the light of day eventually. But I am not a trader by any stretch of the imagination. I'm the opposite of a casino guy. I do deep dives on companies and go, this, and this. I'm a trend guy. I want to know what's going to happen 15, 20 years from now. Invest in Coca-Cola. Well, is it one of mine personally? But no, but solid. Companies that have been around for 100 years and going to be around for 100 more. You ain't going to make a gajillion dollars, but you're going to make money on it, and you ain't going to lose a ton of money on it. There's that. I'm not saying you can't. It's possible. It's just not as likely as day trading. All right, let's get to the good shit. Let's get to the funny. Where are we at? We got time. Horse around for a little bit. It's Wednesday. We're horsing around. I have been watching Misty Mochi, Luther Morgan, Don Flurgandy, DSP for entertainment, because that shit is funny to me. I have determined DSP is harmless. He's an e-bagger. He likes to spur. I'm not gonna lie to you. Watching DSP lose at a game, which happens invariably every day, he's gonna get his ass kicked on something and he spurgs the fuck out. That shit's entertaining to me. It's like watching a 4-year-old throw a temper tantrum. Shit's kind of funny. Yeah, there you go. Ty Cobb, great example. Ty Cobb got rich buying Coke stock. Thank you, Italian Jim. A lot of people did. It used to be that's how it went. The 1929 crash started off the Great Depression. This is my opinion. Understand, I'm not a professional economist. I'm a guy that just reads a lot of stuff that most people would rather burn than read. In my opinion, that's how the stock market originally had its real first good crash, was doing the exact kind of derivative, overblown casino bullshit that it's built on now. I am a prognosticator. I think our stock market is going to crash in spectacular fashion. 2008 is going to look like a fucking rounding error at one point, and soon. There you go. There's your black pill for the day on the economy. Okay. I have been watching some of DSP stuff just for pure entertainment, because really that's all there is to it. You know, there's no scam involved in DSP other than you're paying. How do I put this? You get what you pay for with Phil. He's not telling you, buy my coffee. It's this, that, or the other thing. He's not telling you, if you pay me money, you'll get this. Okay, he's not a televangelist. He's a guy that says support the stream. And the stream consists of, I'm going to spurg the fuck out and throw a tantrum when I lose at a game. Or if you don't give me more money, I'm going to berate you. That's funny to me. That's like watching the panhandler in front of the liquor store freak out because you don't give him $1. I think that shit's entertaining. I'm weird like that. Hey man, can I have $1? Tell you what, do a headstand. Do a headstand, I'll give you $1. Like Tom Segura said, you get something, I get something. But just the $1 out of nowhere? No, we ain't doing that shit. But that's DSP. You give me money, I'll spurg the fuck out. Everybody has a laugh. We go on our way. This guy's a different story. Okay? Jeremy Hambley is a different story. Jeremy Hambley has several irons in the fire, as we have all come to understand, if you follow this at all. This man is not ethical. In my opinion, this dude's a criminal. Is that going to come out eventually? Probably. New shit comes out about this guy every fucking day because he's so stupid is one thing. Stupid and arrogant together. I have never seen somebody who's stupid and arrogant survive very long. It doesn't, in their grift, not in life, because I don't mean they die. I just mean their grift just collapses on them. I worked with a guy one time, and I found this to be true. He used to say to me all the time, we only catch the stupid ones. I find that to be true. You do catch the smart ones occasionally. It's because they did something stupid. Or you had time on your side, and eventually it's a numbers game. Just smart criminals, eventually you just do it so often. It's a numbers game. You're bound to screw up. This fucking dude can't stop stepping on rakes. No matter how you slice it, Jeremy Hambley is itching to out himself at every moment of every day. Now, I haven't done this yet. I will sit down one of these days. Short version is he's destroying himself so fast, it's really not worth my time or effort to sit down and clip him to show everybody all of his fuck-ups and all of his tells, because he does it by himself. He's beating me to the punch is essentially what's going on there. The guy's clowning himself so fast, I can't keep up because I got other shit to do, like day drink and fish and take, my stepdaughter shopping and hang out with Mrs. McCoy. Much more important than fronting off Jeremy Hambley because he's doing it himself. One thing that I did notice that I want people to pick up, Jeremy Hambley is a compulsive liar. Okay? He is a pathological, compulsive liar. I don't know what makes these people tick. I know that every criminal that I've ever run across, to some extent, is a compulsive, pathological liar. They can't help it. Some of them do it to cover up the shit that they've done that they know is wrong. That's one thing. Some of them do it just because they're sociopaths. Jeremy Hambley is a sociopath. I'm not a doctor. It's not a professional diagnosis. It's my experience of working with criminal people. Okay? Compulsive liars have one thing that they do when they're practiced at it that allows them to continue on in society as compulsive liars. They do what I like to call setting up and out. Jeremy Hambley does this repeatedly. If you listen, I'm going to give you right here a short example of what I call setting up and out. Okay. He is on this weight loss arc. He's doing the keto diet. He is not doing the keto diet. He says he's doing the keto diet. What he's doing is texting Melanie Mack 50 times a day, claiming it's diet related because he's a freak. He's telling everybody about all of his weight loss, how great it's going, and how, oh yeah, I don't even have cravings for this, that, or the other thing anymore, even though I went out and got a cupcake the other day. I gave up alcohol, even though I went this weekend and pounded a bunch of White Claws and, vodka, whatever fucking bullshit it is. He will set these things up ahead of time if you listen. Now here on his keto arc, he's got a story about Oprah Winfrey. He's got what I'm going to call the Ozempic out. Okay. What he's doing, he's going to very, very subtly and carefully tell you a lie about an existing lie that will allow him to escape his current lie. He's on keto. It's going great. The lie is he's not on keto. It's not going great. He's not losing weight. His doctor, in my guess, has probably told him, you're diabetic. You need to drop 150 pounds. You need to stop eating this. You got to stop drinking, all this bullshit. He's going to go on Ozempic, okay? Ozempic doesn't create sympathy for him, so it doesn't work. The keto arc failure will create sympathy for him and allow him to shamelessly go on Ozempic. Here it comes.
That
Hilarious.
She cheated, but you know what? Doctor once told me while trying to convince me to get on it, and I will strongly consider if keto fails, but
Did you hear how quick that was? Let's do this again. Check this out.
But she lost all that weight, kept it off. It's very clear that
Hilarious.
She cheated. But you know what? Doctor once told me while trying to convince me to get on it, and I will strongly consider if keto fails. But I'm 3 weeks in. I'm all right. It's in my.
Did you hear how fast that happened? I'll strongly consider it if keto fails, but I'm 3 weeks in and everything's good. That is called the setup to an out. If I had a nickel for everybody that I have interrogated that uses that technique to get out of a lie that they know you're onto, I'd buy you a Corvette of your choice. This dude is so transparent. I love the work that Misty Mochi has done. I love the work that Luther Morgan has done. Don Flergeny just has a ball with this guy. This, to be fair, and I'm not trying to be mean to everybody involved in this, when they go, oh, we caught him doing this, we caught him doing this. A fucking child could catch this guy doing. He literally outs himself like that. I catch that little tiny stuff. You watch 2 weeks max. He's on his Ozempic arc. He's already given away. I've got gout, so the red meat part of keto is not working for me. I've learned I can drink a little bit here and there, so it's okay with keto. So I gave up alcohol altogether. That shit's out. This guy is more transparent than a used bar of Neutrogena fucking soap. Okay, it disgusts me. I watch this stuff, and all these guys, God bless them. I know they're having fun. I know they're enjoying, just ripping them to shreds. Oh, look, he said this, he said that. Yeah, and I always look and go, yeah, I know he did. I look at some of the things that he's doing. Last night, Flergeny busted him out on Walmart's marketplace has a listing on his product or whatever his line is that says this seller may engage in, reselling other blah, blah, blah. So essentially drop shipping, which he said, no, you can't do that and be on, can't be on Walmart. Nobody could do that on Amazon. Everything just is bullshit from this guy. Now, they're having a good time with it. They look at it. To me, what I want to do is once his affiliate program got found out, that he was getting affiliate money off of cookies that his site was inserting onto your searches, whether your purchases were related to his site or not, which if you're aware of how that works, look into Honey. Okay. PayPal had a system called Honey. It was a coupon scam. They got busted for it. It's essentially what Hambly was doing with affiliate sales. Short version is you go to cbc.com, you get a cookie installed on your browser, you go to Amazon, Walmart, whatever your searches are, that cookie keys on any purchases you make on those sites, he gets a cut. Okay. You get a commission. It doesn't matter whether you buy, you could buy shoes, doesn't matter. He gets an affiliate cut. Okay. Here's what I want to know. And I forwarded this to Misty just as a goof because they do this kind of, I don't care to interact with corporate nonsense. I don't care. That's not really my bag. It's not interesting to me. It's time intensive. I don't care for it. What I am good at is looking at that and determining what is the most likely way that a criminal used that venue to get money. Now, his affiliate thing came out. I looked at that. I looked at his big Walmart push. And here's where my mind went instantly. That would get him, if he claimed they were all CBC sales, in order to insulate himself from any questions. Did he claim to Walmart that all of those affiliate sales that bullshit cookie insertion got, did he claim those were all CBC sales so he could tell Walmart, oh no, I don't sell 500 bags a year. I sell 500 bags a day or 500 bags an hour. And then he could point and go, look at all my sales. And he was claiming all those affiliate clicks as CBC sales or even CBC clicks. Because I find it hard to believe that Walmart is going to seriously entertain some douchebag on the internet who sells flavored coffee that's not really his as a viable product for their shelves unless he was giving them numbers that looked attractive. Now, I understand. I'm jaded. I'm used to working with people who do bad things for a living. I might be ascribing some, nefarious. I typically don't like to assign malice where simple incompetence will suffice. I think Hambly is the kind of guy that's just smart enough to try and cover his malfeasance with incompetence. I've met one or two criminals like that. They get pretty far by faking stupid. He might be in that arena. I don't know yet. Still trying to work that one out. We're going to see. But if you follow this stuff and you A-log him at all, keep an eye out. I don't know what Misty's going to do with that. I don't have anything to do with Misty. I sent her an email one time. That was it. Actually, twice. This latest one, I was actually on listening to one of her streams. And I was like, you know what just occurred to me? So I sent this. She was like, you know, I never really put that together, but And when Misty says, that usually means some looking into is going to occur. So we'll see what happens. And all credit to all those guys, Luther Morgan, Misty Mochi, all those guys, everybody that's putting in the legwork on this. I am not. I'm the guy that sits and looks at something stupid that somebody does and goes, you know, I knew a guy one time that used that to do this. Or, sounds like you could make a pretty good scam out of that if you did this. That's just how my head works. Sorry, that's a conditioned response now. And Hambly's loaded with it. That guy's a walking tell. Can't look at the camera. His down and away is every... You know, there is so much bullshit that comes out of that guy. I don't think there is anything true about his life. I don't think his wife has been in that house for a year. I don't think that guy is anything other than a degenerate gambler who, if you ever saw Rain Man, Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, throughout the movie, Tom Cruise, Charlie Babbitt, is desperately trying to keep this car deal together. This real shady kind of import, this car import of Lamborghinis. And he's on the phone constantly, and he's, wheeling and dealing, and this deal's falling apart, and he's scrambling the whole time to keep it together. Okay. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, that's the short version. That's Jeremy Hambly. Everything in his life, every business venture, everything he's got going, he's Charlie Babbitt on the phone, just trying to duct tape together every piece of shit, shady, skeezy fucking deal that he's got going on. That's all, everything that absorbs every moment of his life. All of his channels, his shorts, all of his business dealings. This guy is one phone call away from losing everything and probably having law enforcement agencies look into him. I mean, if we're going to be perfectly honest, I can't believe the FTC on some level. You mess around with people. I don't do that. It's not my thing. I don't care. That's not my business anymore. I don't give a shit. You do what you want. People give you money and they get scammed. That's on them. Okay. I can't be responsible for people being stupid. But I will tell you this. You fuck around long enough, especially on the internet, somebody is going to take it personally enough that it's going to be their mission in life to see you pay the price. This guy is way past that. Okay. Criminals, if you survive for a long time, typically you keep your head down, your mouth shut. You can go a long way. Not this dude. He cannot help it. That lolcow gene is just deeply embedded in him. And he cannot help but toot his own horn and tell everybody what a big man he is. Every guy on Cell Block D is going to tell you what a big deal they were before they wound up where they're at right now. And he is no exception. I will tell you that for nothing. So one day when it happens, you remember where you heard it first. Somebody's going to get him. Being booted off of the platforms is the least of this guy's problems. I will tell you, from the very, very little of what I know, and it's all what I've seen other people do. I haven't done the investigation myself, but from what I've seen, I will tell you right now, getting booted off the platforms is probably the least of this guy's problems. In my opinion, I think he better be worried about what his wife's going to take from him someday, what his former business partners are going to hit him up with. and perhaps what some regulatory agency is going to come at him with. Because I got a strong feeling, if I was him, why do you think he goes in and fixes links? Somebody mentions a link and mentions cookies and mentions this or that. And I mean that day. Shit, sometimes midstream. All right, here, I'll go in and fix it right now. That fucking Kona stream where he went in and fixed the labeling on his site because he called it a blend, but was claiming it was 100% pure Kona. You watched him real life, real time try and cover up a scam. His downfall is going to be himself. He's too proud and too fucking stupid to stop it at this point. All right, that's enough of that A-logging. I got to get out of here. We've been horsing around long enough. Everybody's got stuff to do. Mrs. McCoy going to be home soon. I got real life to do, so do you. Have fun. Be good to yourselves the rest of the day. I'm back. Friday, I will not be on Friday. I want to let everybody know up front. I apologize. I got IRL stuff I got to do. Got doctor stuff I got to do. So everything's fine. Just doctor stuff's got to happen. This is a short window. I'm like, I'll take it. Everybody, man, you know what? Maybe Friday afternoon. How about that? We'll see about Friday afternoon. We'll try that on. No promises. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I didn't see Doomiverse throughout the chat, throughout the day. It was a brand new name I saw in the chat. If you're new here, if you enjoyed it, good. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you didn't, I thank you for hanging around as long as you did. Thanks for not jumping in the chat and being a pain in the ass. I doubt that. I think if you're here, you're probably here for a reason. You don't normally wind up here on accident. You probably, got here by way of. So good. Glad to have you along. Anyway, be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. God bless y'all for sticking it out this long. I will see you again tomorrow morning. Be good to people that we don't feel like being good to, because that's what the good Lord told us to do. I'll catch y'all later.
I'm just about done here. I never did know your name.
Yes, you do. Take care.
Yes, sir, Captain.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? We're some real pretty shit now, man. You finished? It's the end of the road.
You bastards!
Between Glamorgan and Yorkshire, the Yorkshire bowler Nicholson took 8 wickets for 3 runs. Glamorgan were all out for 36 and therefore won the match by an innings and 7 runs. Weather for tomorrow will be cloudy with occasional outbreaks of rain. And that is the end of the news.
Now? Can we go home now?